Siege right now is in one of the most fragging heavy metas we have ever been in. Operators like Iana, Zofia, Capitao, Maverick, and even Ace make fragging extremely fun and easy for nearly anyone to do. Well, despite what you may think, Siege used to have operators that were even more busted than the operators of today. So, in today's video, I'll be telling the story of one of Siege's forgotten entry fraggers. He used to be overpowered, and now he is downright underrated. Rainbow Six Siege released on December 1st, 2015, and with it we got 20 operators with their own unique gadgets, Glaz being one of them. Glaz's gadget is a flip sight attached to his rifle that, when active, allows him to see heat signatures of defenders. This allows him to see defenders through smoke if he stands still for long enough, which can get him some free kills. But when the game released, his scope didn't have this capability. It only acted as a magnification sight. This meant that he had one of the worst gadgets in the game. It didn't provide anything for his team, and it only helped Glaz at range. Also, the red hue that his scope had at the time made it hard to see enemies. Ubisoft originally planned on him filling the role of a support sniper, but this role didn't really fit Siege well. Since time is against the attackers, having someone spend a long time outside holding angles is not a good gadget design. Even though his sniper was a lot stronger back then, the lack of a gadget overshadowed it. Naturally, his pick rate was very low, and it would stay that way for a while, all the way until Year 2, Season 1, also known as Operation Velvet Shell. Operation Velvet Shell is known as one of Siege's best operations. It brought us two new operators in the form of Jackal and Mira, which were both extremely game-changing. We also got a new map, Coastline, which is to this day one of my favorite maps. But what we are here for today is the Glaz changes. In this operation, Glaz got a huge overhaul to his scope. This gave his scope thermal capabilities, meaning that it would turn defenders bright yellow when they walked into the scope's line of sight. This change is what allowed Glaz to see defenders through smoke grenades. Considering that he had access to these bad boys by default, he was now able to bring some real lethality to the team. Glaz started to see a higher pick rate, and people were now using him for smoke plant strats, or even rushes. He was so incredibly strong that the game went into a smoke meta, where when an operator had smoke grenades, they were instantly strong because of them being able to help Glaz. It seemed like nearly every round there was someone bringing smokes, and smoke planting was being done at record high numbers. Now, you may think that this was his strongest point, and well, you wouldn't be wrong for assuming that. Glaz was being used as an entry fragger, and it was really strong. But I think Glaz got even stronger when this operator was released. They were able to perfectly aid Glaz in his smoke plant and rush strategy while being strong in their own right. But they wouldn't end up releasing until 2 seasons later in Year 2, Season 3, also known as Operation Blood Orchid. Operation Blood Orchid is an operation that I seem to visit a lot in these videos, and for good reason. It brought us tons of new content, we got a new map in the form of Theme Park, and 3 new operators. Ella and Legion were extremely strong and fun to play trap operators that added a lot to the defensive side. But the operator we're here for today is Ying. Ying brings an interesting gadget to the table. They are called Candelas, and when thrown they will roll across the floor and detonate. When detonated, they will release multiple flashes that will blind any defenders nearby. On top of this, she has goggles that she wears that can protect her from flashbangs entirely. This allows Ying to play a very aggressive playstyle with her gadget, with her typically being used to protect or mask the sound of a plant. Now you may be wondering, what does Ying have to do with Glaz? Well, Ying's playstyle directly complements Glaz, and she was released in the smoke meta that I mentioned earlier, which was absolutely perfect for her. Her smoke grenades allowed Ying to smoke and Candela off the bomb site, allowing Glaz to take advantage of his scope to kill any of the defenders that were anchoring. This combo was exceptionally strong. So much so that it was being used in Pro League regularly, and Glaz had become a must pick on a lot of bomb sites. Things were looking up for Glaz, especially compared to the way he was on launch. Things would stay this way for Glaz for nearly 2 years, with him only getting some minor nerfs in that period. Some examples are Ubisoft removing his marksman rifle's ability to destroy castle barricades, and his marksman rifle's damage being reduced from 85 to 71. But these nerfs would barely do anything to him, and he would continue to be extremely strong until Ubisoft gave him a mini rework in Year 4, Season 2, also known as Operation Phantom Sight. Operation Phantom Sight was overall a pretty bad operation. It brought us 2 new operators, those being Nook and Warden, and the Cafe rework. Even though the Cafe rework was good, Warden and Nook were both extremely underwhelming and niche. But what everyone was happy about was the Glaz rework. Ubisoft originally designed Glaz as a support operator that was meant to sit back and snipe over aggressive defenders. Well, Ubisoft noticed that people were using him as an entry fragger, and so they decided to nerf his scope. They did this by making his scope's thermal capabilities only work at maximum strength while he was standing still. This neutered his ability to play aggressively like he could before. This one change made him go from one of the highest win rate entry fraggers in the game to being one of the worst operators in the game overnight. Also, the new operator Warden being able to see through smokes didn't help Glaz either, because now he had a direct counter. Glaz would never be able to recover from this operation, and to this day, his pick rate and win rate have never gone back to what it was. Over the next couple of seasons, they would try to give him some small buffs to help him recover, like giving him frag grenades, or giving all DMRs the ability to destroy soft hatches and soft surfaces, but these changes weren't enough, and they wouldn't do anything to buff his gadget until Year 5, Season 3. Year 5 Season 3, aka Operation Shadow Legacy, is my favorite operation of all time. We got Zero as our new operator and Chalet as our map rework. Along with that, we got tons of new balancing changes that changed the way Siege was played. But the main thing we are here for today is the Glaz buff. Glaz in this update got the movement penalty on his scope significantly reduced, along with his recovery time. This meant that Glaz would have to stand still less to get the full potential out of his scope. This one change made Glaz a lot more fun to play, and it allowed him to play a little more aggressively than what he could before. Even though he was more fun to play, his pick rate and win rate still didn't go up. Ubisoft tried to buff him in the following seasons to get it to go up by giving him a Gon 6, a secondary machine pistol, and making him a 3-speed, but even to this day, he is in the negatives when it comes to pick rate and win rate. However, I think Glaz is really slept on. He can bring nades and a Gon 6, meaning that he can destroy 3 pieces of hard utility for his team, which is more than Ashe and Zofia could ever do. And if you want to play a more fragging heavy playstyle, you can bring smoke grenades and his bearing 9 to help you use your gadget and to up your lethality. If you use him in the right strategies and in the right circumstances, he can be really strong. And honestly, I think even today you can still use him as an entry fragger. In conclusion, Glaz released with the game as one of the weakest operators, but Ubisoft officially gave him a huge buff by making his scope have thermal reading capabilities. This created a smoke meta where players began bringing smoke grenades every round to help get a plant down and to help Glaz use his scope. Then Ying released, which made this meta even stronger. Her Candelas allowing your team to easily drown the noise of a planter and to disorient the defenders in the bomb site. But with Glaz's scope getting nerfed in Operation Phantom Sight and Warden coming into the game, it completely killed any bit of the smoke meta that was left, and his pick rate plummeted to a point that he still hasn't recovered from. Ubisoft have given him some amazing buffs, like giving him nades, a Gon 6, and his Baron 9, and also making him a 3-speed, but it still hasn't allowed him to win back the hearts of the Siege player base. Maybe Glaz will get some buffs in the near future to boost his pick rate, or maybe players will finally realize the potential of Glaz and see how underrated he truly is, but we'll just have to see what the future holds. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. I make Rainbow Six Siege content just like this twice a week, so make sure you subscribe and follow me on Twitter so you don't miss the next upload. If you want to watch another video just like this one, a video will be popping up on your screen where I talk about another operator that was absolutely insane on release. I'll see you next time, friends, and peace.